So this is my campsite for my first night in Big Bend. I'm up in the Chisos Mountains. It's a beautiful site, but it was hard getting here. And I'm not talking about the climbing or the hiking. I'm talking about the reservation system to allow me to sit here. And I try and keep these videos short, but this one might get a little long-winded. So if you don't want to listen to it all the way to the end, the lesson here is if you want to get a backcountry site, or a front country site for that matter, you better understand the system. And if you thought you understood it last year, you better think again, because things change constantly. And recreation.gov is just a false facade for a government contractor, basically a concessionaire to handle the analytics of this system. And so the Park Service, the Forest Service, BLM, Corps of Engineers, they all use it. They all deny they have any access to it, or they're responsible for it, or anything else. But you can be assured that at each unit there's somebody that deals with it, because when you get there, they know you're coming. Makes sense, right? But if you ask them a question, they say, oh, we don't have anything. You have to do everything online. That's how it works. So my first thought was, I had such a hard time getting a front country site that I thought, you know what, you can get a backcountry permit at the visitor center. I'll just do that. So what I found out was, basically there you just get the cheap seats. If you want the hard to get sites, like up on the rim where I'm headed in the next couple days, then you got to go online to do that. And so I did. I went online and I couldn't get it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of wreckyourvacation.gov. So when I go in the visitor center and I find out I can't get the sites I want unless I go online, I said, I'll go online. So I go out, sit on a bench, put all my information in, won't let me book it. Says I'm in violation. Says I'm trying to stay in this site right here 2 nights in a row, which according to the rules you can't do. But I wasn't. I was moving every day. And so I looked at my itinerary. Maybe I punched it in wrong. No, I've got it in there right. No, I'm in violation. So I go back in and I talk to no less than 5 rangers at the backcountry desk and give them my phone. Say, here, you book it for me. They're pushing buttons. Everybody's scratching their head. Nobody can figure out what's wrong. It all looks right, but it keeps telling me I'm in violation. And so finally, I just gave up and said, you know what? I'll go out and work on it myself, because at the top of that screen is a little clock that starts at like 15 minutes. And it keeps telling you, you've got 8 minutes to make this reservation. You've got 6 minutes to complete this reservation. And so you're kind of happy that you got some sites you want, an itinerary that you want, but the clock's running out and it won't let you book the damn thing. And so that maybe I've mentioned this before. There's 8 billion people on the planet. So somebody out there in the universe is probably online trying to get those same sites that I just snagged. And as soon as that clock runs out, they're going to snag them. So I'm kind of in a panic to get that site. It's like trying to win the lottery. Anyway, I finally give up and I go back in, and now there's even a different ranger there. Give him my phone. He tries to figure it out. He can't. And then that person I'm talking about, that person on the ground that handles this recreation.gov system in every unit, finally comes out. She must have heard from everybody that, I have a problem. And she knows exactly what the problem is. because we had such a hard time canceling a reservation in the front country. She recognizes my name and my number, my contact number, and she says that I can't make a backcountry, even though the website didn't say this. It said I was in violation for trying to stay here for 2 nights. But the real problem was I already had a reservation in the front country campground where my wife is staying. And so I can't make a second reservation. It's the same system. If I try and make a backpacking permit reservation, I'm making a double booking. And I said, so I can never backpack in Big Bend anymore because my wife doesn't backpack. She's going to stay in the front country and I want to go out in the back country. She said I had to have a second account. Well, to me, that sounds like what a lot of people could do to scam the system, have a double account. So we have 2 accounts. In fact, we double booked the front country here by mistake. And that's another, recreation.gov wouldn't even let us cancel though. When I found out my wife had booked the same week that I had booked, we both were trying because it's so hard to get in, and we both won the lottery. We both got booked into this park, and we were trying to cancel the one she made, and they wouldn't even let us cancel it. And that turned out to be recreation.gov. Finally, after spending 3 hours on the phone with them, they finally admitted they had a pucker snatch in their system and they have to fix that. But they didn't pay me for teaching that lesson. Anyway, so I then had to go out in the car, get all my wife's information, make a backcountry permit on her account to get here. I mean, all this has taken hours, a lot of frustration. I've dealt with no less than a dozen people on both sides of recreation.gov and land managers in the park. And it wasn't over yet. So this morning I kissed my wife goodbye, and I drive 20 miles up into the Chisos Mountains to the trailhead, and you know, there's a visitor center there in the mountains. And I'm sitting there getting some water to start out, and I want to look at my itinerary and make sure I have my permit on my phone in case somebody wants to check my permit. Can't find it. I finally figure out why, because they sent all the confirmation information to my wife's phone, who's down, you know, in the valley with no Wi-Fi, so I can't get it from her. What a fiasco. Just a fiasco. And you know, again, maybe I'm getting to be an old curmudgeon, but I'm telling you, this system doesn't work. This system really sucks. And the Park Service, Forest Service, BLM, Corps of Engineers, everybody that uses this sorry system ought to figure out how to run their own units. So here's an interesting fact. You know, I've Googled around in the past trying to figure out just who is recreation.gov. And from what I can gather, this isn't gospel. This is, you know, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, but I've researched it quite a bit. And the government contractor that is reservation.gov is the same spy agency that Snowden worked for, which makes sense to me now. So everybody thinks Snowden took off to Russia. I think what Snowden did, he went on reservation.gov. He made a camping itinerary to go camping with Putin, and then he couldn't cancel it. You know, how long has it taken me to try and cancel our mistake here in Big Bend? I'm sure Snowden wants to come home. He just can't cancel his reservation. Check it out. Go online. You find out who recreation.gov is. If it's somebody different than I found out, let me know. Keep smiling.